All right, everybody. CJ here. Let me tell you something. Hot Seat Automotive Podcast. We got a treat today. I'm with my buddy Donovan from Rev Collective. Say hello, Donovan.
How's it going, buddy?
Let me tell you something. Today, as you can see, he's got his Cybertruck. And we are going to check it out. We're going to take it for a ride. Donovan's going to tell us the truth about Cybertruck ownership. We're going to debunk some myths, maybe, and find out what it's really like to cruise around in that Cybertruck. Donovan, what do you think?
Let's go. Let's take care of it.
Let's get into it. Come on. All right, first things first, Donovan. I want to get in and check this out, but I don't know how to open the door. Help me out.
So as you can see, there are no door handles. So the only way to get in is you press the button there and it pops open and you just kind of open it from the top there.
That is cool. All right, guys, here we are. We're inside the Cybertruck. Your buddy CJ's psyched. Donovan, tell me what I need to know. I'm new to the Cybertruck. We're going to take it for a ride. But what are the things a new driver of this thing really need to know?
Well, I think when you first get in the vehicle, you want to get yourself situated and familiar with the infotainment and the control center. Okay. So when you get in the vehicle, you're going to situate yourself to looking at the infotainment center and the command center or control center of the Tesla Cybertruck. So it has, cameras. You can see the rear and then the right. There's one on the right and then the one on the left and then one in the front as well. So usually the rearview mirror will be sticking up in view here, and you can control a lot of other things too. So you can open the trunk, you can close the tonneau cover, and everything like that. The air conditioning is there. Each person has their own. You have a dog mode, so if you left your dog in here, it would stay on.
Right.
And it would tell people, it would come up on here, it's in dog mode, please do not call the police or tell somebody to break the window.
Listen, every dog has his day. Every dog can have a Cybertruck.
Yeah. So it's like that. And then let's see. So there's a whole bunch of other things. A lot of operating system things that you kind of really don't need. But once you're in here, all you gotta do is just put your foot on the brake, and then put the gear in drive or reverse, whatever you feel like doing.
So when I get in, as long as is it just a little credit card thing, or is it the app proximity?
It's either your phone. You will get permission from me through the phone, and you'll download the app or whatever. And then we also have the key cards that I don't know if I have one in here.
So there's really no push to start, quote unquote. You get in and go right to the interface.
So this is what the key card looks like, and you just have to keep it in the cup holder there.
Got it. Very cool. All right. So what do you think? Let's take it for a ride.
Let's do it. So safety first, seat belts.
And talk to me about drive modes, Donovan.
Drive modes, there are different drive modes in the dynamic. So then there's comfort mode, sport mode, custom, and off-road.
Okay.
But most people will be in a comfort mode. And it kind of it's easier on the throttle. It tries to use less battery. And then there's sport mode where it uses a lot of energy to, give you that burst of energy.
What do you prefer by way of mode when you're driving?
I put it in sport mode.
You leave it in sport?
I always leave it in sport.
Okay.
So it focuses on the ride and handling, so it puts more emphasis on, the steering and things like that. And that's pretty much it. You can also get into towing and hauling mode, and you can control the charging. Normally, they want you to charge it to only 80% if you're doing daily driving, and then you can go to 100% if you're doing long trips.
Road trip. Okay, yeah. I'm with you.
Because Tesla says that if you're at if you charge up to 80%, the last 20%, the electrons are trying to find the openings, and it takes more energy to find the openings to charge.
Interesting.
So if it's at 80%, it takes this long, 4 or 5 hours to get to 80% if you're using your home charger.
Okay.
And it'll take about 2 to 4 hours to charge the last 20%.
Wow.
But if you're at your supercharger, you can do that in 30 minutes.
So it's basically the old 80-20 rule.
Yeah.
And 80% is your sweet spot to charge to. I love it. Let's get to it. Let's take it for a ride. Then I want to ask you for some more questions and maybe debunk, Donovan, some of these Cybertruck myths, if you will.
No problem.
Let's do it.
So basically, when you get in, you put your foot on the brake, and it engages the command center in a different mode.
Okay.
Then you take it's touchscreen, so you'll put it in forward is drive,
Gotcha.
reverse all the way down is reverse,
Okay.
and tap it and it parks.
Interesting. Really
There's also
cool.
touchscreens here.
Oh, wow.
Reverse.
Good old-fashioned
drive,
park,
old-fashioned,
reverse,
yeah.
neutral drive.
Yep.
Oh, I like that. How cool
So I
is
hardly
that?
ever use this.
Now, I got to ask you this question before we roll out. How's the yoke been? Did you get used to it quick, or was it unusual?
You got used to it quick. I mean, if you're, one of those old school guys that like the steering wheel, but if you played a lot of video games and you're into that, most video games, you're not turning like how you do in a normal car anyway. So this is almost like driving in a video game.
I love it.
So it has that fly-by-wire, so every little turn or nudge of the steering wheels, it turns the wheels for you. So
Right.
you don't have to keep turning. All you do is just a quarter turn. And
It
just
manages
turns.
the all-wheel steering.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. What do you think? We'll start rolling.
Yeah.
Ooh. So you're used to that. She pulls, and this is in
Yeah.
sport mode, correct?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Feels good. Feels good. Cybertruck. Here we go.
I think of it as a getting in a big Disney ride.
I already feel. Here's the one thing. In all honesty, I have driven other EVs, Donovan. The first thing I noticed when I took my foot off the accelerator, that regenerative braking.
Yep.
That takes some getting used to, yeah?
Yeah.
But you learn how to feather it, and I imagine you're pretty good at it.
Yeah. It takes maybe a full day of just driving around.
Right.
Maybe 20 minutes, and then you're good.
It's a smooth ride. It's quiet. Feels good. Steering is not hard. This is in sport mode. Getting used to the regen braking.
So when you get to any stop or whatever, it'll stop for you.
Right.
It'll give you an alert too. So you can just keep your foot on the gas, and then like when you're ready to stop, you just take your foot off the gas,
Right.
and then you stop.
So the nannies keep you safe in the Cybertruck, yeah?
Yeah.
Pretty cool. The yoke is smaller than I thought it would be. It's not that it's too small, but just you imagine a vehicle this large, steering wheel's going to be bigger and beefier.
Yeah.
And to your point, it kind of feels like video games of old as I'm driving it. Oh man, this thing's cool.
Yeah, and for how big it is from the outside, it's got some space on the inside, and it's got the power to handle it, and the steering and the controls to handle it.
Have you done road trips in it, Donovan?
Not yet. We're going to probably do one in the end of this month or October. We'll try to take it down to Florida. But I do have, we do rent them out, and people have taken them to, Raleigh, Columbia, the beach.
Right.
All of our vehicles have been to more places than we ever have ever time for. Everybody tells us they love our vehicles, and they enjoy taking them to wherever they go.
Right.
And then with an EV, if you put in the navigation where you want to go, it'll tell you where the Cybertruck or the Tesla supercharging facilities are. So it'll plot them into your navigation route.
Gotcha.
It'll plot in how long you should be there to charge to make it to the next route, and it'll give you a calculation of how much percent you'll end up with at the end of your route.
Donovan, we talked about maybe debunking some Cybertruck myths. One of the things you hear, and I want to get your reaction to this, is that the Cybertruck is not a real truck.
Correct.
You've owned this thing for a few months. What's your reaction to that?
I like to tell everybody, yeah, I know it's not a truck. It's a Cybertruck. So it's on a different level. It has some of the characteristics of a truck. It has a bed. It has 4 doors. You can hold 5 people in here. But although it is full EV, you just deal with it that way. I mean, a lot of people have to make that transition from all gas and EV. It's definitely not something that you would use to go on long trips all the time.
Right.
Because it would be, unless you had the burden of taking the time to charge it, it would be fine. But if you're using it around the town daily, or if you got 100 yards, a 100-mile trip, then those are all fine. 100 mile there, 100 mile back. You can still have 50, 100 miles on your battery level still.
Got it. And what's been your experience with quality? That's the other knock on Teslas.
Yeah.
What's been your experience with the Cybertruck quality?
I think the quality is, I don't think it's like unmatched, but it's, it's for what it is. I think it's good. It's obviously not a high-end luxury vehicle, but and most people are paying high dollar, 80 to 100 grand for their Teslas, the X's and the Plaids and things like that. But that's what it is. I mean, that's the going rate for any kind of car now.
Truth.
So
who would have thought, that in our lifetimes, the $80,000 to $100,000 pickup truck or SUV would be common.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's almost like a point of entry for a new vehicle at a certain
And they're
level.
all over the street, and you don't know how, people always complain about the economy, but they're everywhere.
Truth.
And people have them.
Another thing I want to ask you about, and you kind of alluded to this, but give me some more specifics about the range. We know that when EV companies, Tesla, others, when they put out these ranges, that's based on what they're seeing in the lab, if you will, and based on some math. What have you seen around range? Are you impressed and pleased? Go ahead.
Well, obviously, it varies based on your driving style. If you're going to punch at every stop sign that you're going to go, you're going to use a percent of your battery life every time. But if you are, just going and you're cruising, you can make it last what it says. But I'm not like that. I drive it in sport mode. I picked up this Cybertruck because I knew it had over 600 horsepower, and I wanted to drive it that way. Same with, any of my other sports cars, my R8, they want to be driven like that.
Right.
And then, when you get some people that rent out these cars and they don't have the experience in driving them, so they baby it, and then when it comes back, it feels like it wants to be driven again.
Right.
And I like driving my cars. I mean, I buy them to drive them. I buy them to rent them and then drive them when they're not.
I got to ask you another question. The ownership experience for a Tesla Cybertruck, what has been people's reaction to the Cybertruck? Do they lose their mind when they see this thing? I mean, you have yours wrapped. I think it looks sharp in the white. What's it like to own and drive this thing, Donovan?
So that's the other thing. In the beginning, before I wrapped it, it was in the silver and the common stainless steel. And you get your ugly refrigerator or whatever. I mean, what I like to think of, like, a lot of people, they go down on, they talk down on them and what it is. But like, if it's so ugly, why do you have a stainless steel refrigerator in your house? Right?
Truth.
So, I mean, they just wanted to be different. They put it on the road.
Well, I'll be honest with you. Number one thing for me, to your point, listen, it's disruptive.
Yeah,
it doesn't look
exactly.
like everything. It doesn't look like the pickup truck from 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. It's a Cybertruck. Is this the term?
No, it's
the next one.
You probably could, I don't know.
It is so very disruptive. I'm seeing we're getting some looks as we're cruising here. It's really grown on me. Now, Another thing, this is not a Cyber Beast. This is effectively the launch edition, correct? What's the difference?
Well, this is the Foundation series. So
Foundation.
this is the first, probably the first few days of it launching when you put in your reservation.
Left?
Left.
All right.
When you put in your reservation, you got to buy in on the Foundation series. And then it has certain characteristics that are different. Or, you get the upgraded white interior, you get the Foundation series badges here. Of course, I wrapped the outside ones that are on there, but and then you get the fog lights and other things like that. And you get the full self-driving capabilities. That's not updated yet, but when it is, it's there.
Wasn't there also a range boost pack available?
It is. It was like $6,000 for another 100 miles.
Okay.
So I didn't think that was worth it.
Right.
And it takes up like a quarter of your trunk bed space.
Oh.
So for the extra battery life.
Not worth it, perhaps.
Yeah. I mean, we don't haul stuff, and we don't do a lot of dump runs or anything like that.
Right.
Because mainly there. You know, we put the dogs back there once in a while.
Well, Donovan,
Take your launch here.
what I'd like to do, thank you. I'd love to do a launch. Let's give it a try. I'm not going to go too crazy, but I do want to see what all the hype is about, guys. What do you think? Your buddy CJ is going to do a launch. Now, do I need to hold my foot on the brake?
No, you don't, because it's already braked. So
Oh.
you just put your foot, when you're ready, just punch it.
If everybody's ready, we're going to go 3, 2, 1. Let's hit it. Whoa. There's 60 and impressive. Woo-hoo. She pulls. Donovan, what's it rated at 0 to 60?
0 to 60, I believe it was 3.2 or something like that.
Well, I don't know what we just got, but it was close. Very impressive. I've got to say, I don't feel like I'm in a truck. I've driven a lot of F-150s, F-250s, Silverados over the years. My Suburban, my Expedition, all kinds of different rigs. Let's do it. Let's bang a quick Huey. Help me out getting into reverse. Thank God you're here, Donovan. Listen, let's give the touch screen a try. Let's put her back in the drive. Look at that. Your buddy CJ picking it up. And we're going to go back, and then Donovan, this has been a heck of an experience. Maybe you and I'll debrief. Let's get this thing parked. I want to talk about it, man. Yeah. All right. Donovan, now that we've got it parked, I want to ask you, Rev Collective, that's your company where you rent really cool and interesting cars, including the Cybertruck. What does it cost, may I ask, to rent this thing? What's the range?
Depending on the season, we charge normally from anywhere from $2.99, $3.99, and up to $4.99 for the weekends. So it has a 2 to 3 day minimum rental, and most people will rent it for weeks at a time at that rate too. People love it. People rather experience something like this. I've had nobody complain about it. It rents. It's our top producer in our whole fleet.
Interesting. And are most people renting it just to enjoy?
Yeah.
Local crew? Are they doing road trips?
I've had only one person said that they're on the list and they want to try it before they actually gone through with it.
Okay.
Other people, they just want to. So we did have one company come and rent it, and they used it in their videos. It was, a big YouTuber, Mr. Beast.
No kidding.
Yeah. So he rented it, and then he used it in his videos, and then a lot of other people are using it for just an everyday rental. Just they want to experience Cybertruck, and they want to experience Tesla, so they just rent it.
In your house, who's the most frequent driver of the Cybertruck?
Probably me.
Yeah.
My wife refuses to drive it because she's like, it's too big. I can't get used to it. But I tell her, sometimes it's our only car available. So
Right.
if you have to go somewhere, you'll have to drive it once in a while.
Got it. And you do grocery stores, grocery shopping,
Yeah.
errands, all that in your Cybertruck.
So if it's rented out for the month, maybe more than 50% of the time, I'll raise the prices for the rest of the month so that we can use it for the rest of, because I know nobody's going to pay $700-800. So I'll raise it, but then somebody does, I'll let it go. If not, it's at home for us to use.
And Donovan, if someone wants to rent this very Cybertruck or your R8, your i8, you've got a heck of a stable. How do they get in touch with you? How do they rent your vehicles?
Yeah, we're on Instagram as Rent Exclusive Vehicles or rentrevco.com.
rentrevco.com. Awesome. All right, let's step outside. Maybe a quick debrief, some final thoughts on the Tesla Cybertruck, guys. My mind's blown. I'm trying to process this. Come on. Donovan, take us through some of the key exterior features. I mean, do we have a frunk? Talk about the tonneau cover. Go ahead.
So the front is here. There's a button here, or you can use the app, or there's controls in the front. You basically just press the button, and it'll open electronically for you.
Wow. Okay. Do you
So
find
it has
yourself-
it has some room. I mean, we'll wait for the airplane to go by. So we do take it to a Sam's Club run. We can put a few cases of drinks, protein shakes, or whatever in there, and it's fine. It does fine. To close it, you just hit this close button, or on the app, it'll close. Just make sure you're not near it, so it'll close all the way.
Love it.
And then the truck bed truck part of this car or vehicle, it has a tonneau cover, so it does have a truck bed. You know, you can fit your standard 4x8 ply boards in there. It has an electronic lift gate here, so you just open it like that. And you can fit your standard, and it has a trunk space in there as well. You keep the mobile charger there. Of course, another airplane.
So, Donovan, tell me, as you're driving this thing, do you cruise around with the tonneau cover open or closed? Does it affect the range? Go ahead.
I don't really pay attention to it, but I believe that the aerodynamics is better if it's closed.
Gotcha.
So when you close the tonneau cover, you just press the button once, and it'll close. And it makes sense that it would be more aerodynamic. So I leave it closed when you're going on highway speeds.
Gotcha.
So when, like, if you're ever towing anything or putting something in here, you can stop it at any point if something in your trunk is bigger than the tonneau cover.
Very cool. I like it.
So you can stop it at any point.
Neat. And no problems with it, with the mechanics on this?
Not that I've experienced.
Okay.
Apparently you can put 300 pounds on it and you can stand on it, but I don't do that to my vehicles. I mean, why invoke something that you don't want to?
Why tempt fate? I'm the same way. Now, we got to talk about this because I'm sure our viewers are saying, wait a minute, Tesla Cybertruck has that stainless steel finish. Yours is white. Now, one of the things that I think is neat about you, Donovan, you wrapped this thing yourself. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I mean, you go on the internet and you see a lot of people doing it themselves because it's all flat, so it wasn't that hard. You know, it took a few hours, a few days a week. We did it in like 3 days.
Wow.
And one thing I wanted to do was, you know, wrap the edges, so because everybody complained about the sharp edges, so I wrapped around the edges and went all the way inside, everywhere. So because, you know, if you want something done right, you do it yourself. So I did it that way. I went all the way around. You can't really feel the edges all over, and you know, there's no sharp corners. It's all covered with the wrap.
You did a great job, and I got to ask the question: would you recommend, you know, someone who's maybe never done wraps before to try and do their own Cybertruck? Go ahead.
Yeah, I would say go for it. I mean, if you got the expenses, you know, if you have the ability to afford the wrap, and then some mistake maybe, because there will be some mistakes, and you can always, you know, utilize more. But if you're, you know, we didn't have any mistakes, so we kind of got lucky that way. So
it looks great. It looks great. All right, guys, that's about it out of this video. I do want to give you my final thoughts. Listen, here with Donovan, Rev Collective, with the Cybertruck. What do I think? I'm pleasantly surprised and pleased with my driving experience, walking around the Cybertruck, getting to know it. The acceleration kind of melted my face, and I'm still recovering from that moment. Listen, this thing is a beast, even though this one's not the Cyber Beast. Quite impressive. I don't know that this vehicle is for everybody, but I can see why guys like Donovan and others who have them really like them and enjoy them. So one other thing, and I got to talk about it. There's my Huracan, right? A lot of you may want to know, did we race? And the answer is yes, we did. However, I'm not thrilled with the result, and my ego will not let me tell you what happened. See Donovan smiling? See, life is unfair to your buddy CJ. But in all seriousness, folks, thank you so much, Donovan from Rev Collective, letting us check out the Cybertruck. Hopefully you guys found this video helpful. Hopefully we debunked some of the myths and kind of rumors about the Cybertruck. Talked about the ups, the downs, the goods, the bads. Cool vehicle, you gotta admit. Leave me those comments. Give me a like and subscribe. Your buddy CJ, Hot Seat Automotive Podcast. Thank you so much, Donovan.
Thank you.
And we'll see you all in the next one. Peace.